Hello, everyone. My name is Kanani Makikawa, and I serve as the Director of External Relations here at Cal Poly, where I oversee parent and family programs as well as commencement. I'm excited to be with you today for this special session with the incredible director of the Educational Opportunity Program. Since its establishment in 1968 as the first EOP in CSU history, EOP has been a cornerstone of Cal Poly. It's funded by the California State Legislature and dedicated to supporting over 700 students annually. So the Educational Opportunity Program at Cal Poly includes several features, all of which amplify and support academic success rather than only support student survival. And I'm excited to welcome the director of the Educational Opportunity Program here at Cal Poly. Roger, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, Kanani. Hi, everybody. Hello, Mustang families and supporters. My name is Roger Wang. I'm the Educational Opportunity Program Director here at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. I have been in the role for about a year now, but have been working in higher education for about, I think, going on 14 years. And so I've worked with a lot of students in the past and excited to be here with you. I am going to jump into the presentation, so let me screen share. Kanani Stanley, can you see my screen?
Thumbs up.
Awesome. All right, well, I'm going to get started. So today we are going to chat about what the Educational Opportunity Program, or EOP, is about and how we support your student. So what is EOP? EOP, as Kanani mentioned, is a 55-year-old program which enrolls incoming high school and transfer students at the time of admissions. The program is based on best practices such as holistic advising through a student's college career, residential learning community, summer bridge program, community building events, college and life skill workshops, and financial aid support. The primary goals of EOP are to improve the access, retention, and graduation of students who have been historically, economically, and or educationally disadvantaged. So the core of the program services are built upon a student-centered model, which encourages college success, community building, empowerment. And so our target audience really is first generation and low-income students. And a little bit about our services. We have a lot more than four, but I'm going to kind of sum it all up in these four. So the first one is really the core of our program is holistic advising. Holistic is really the whole person. And so there are 3 EOP counselors who your students meet with based on their major in college. They help your students adjust to life at college, dealing with homesickness, how to get involved, help them connect to different resources on and off campus. The counselors and team are here to celebrate your students' wins and help them when they fail. Our counselors also help your students select classes, create appropriate course loads, how to study, time management, getting connected to study groups, helping them meet with their faculty or get research opportunities. We are one of the few programs here on campus where you have access to the same counselor from the year you enter college until you graduate. One of our cornerstones of our program is also community building. And one of the amazing things about EOP is that there's such a strong community with the program. If you're an EOP, you have access to a community of peers who support you, who you don't have to explain yourself to, who understand the challenges that you're going through and are here to build you up. We have so many community building activities like our fall welcome, Friendsgiving, student leadership conferences, and our spring celebration. But there's also just a lot of organic community building within the EOP community. Lots of students come in together or they'll meet each other, and there's just this instant connection because they know they're an EOP student. We offer workshops, and so we work with campus partners to host numerous workshops on financial aid, scholarships, study abroad, off-campus housing, OSNAP benefits, and healthy habits. We want to make sure our EOP students are well-rounded and getting the most out of the college experience. And then something that we really work hard on is our residential learning community. We work closely with on-campus housing, and we host all of our first-time freshman EOP students in one building. So they have a community of peers that they can connect with, have a home away from home. We also host events in the residential learning community to build community, like ice cream socials, pumpkin painting, and celebrating different holidays. And it is pretty easy to be in our program. You do have to apply during the CSU apply application period. But once you're in the program, all to maintain your eligibility is for first year students that you meet with your EOP counselor quarterly and have them attend Summer Institute, which is a 4-week summer bridge program. And they live in an EOP residential learning community the first year. For transfer students, it's even easier. We just ask them that they meet with their EOP counselors quarterly. And you may have students who are EOP or first generation or might just be struggling. And so just some typical advice that we give to families and supporters is your students may face some challenges while in college. And so you play a critical role in their success. First, your student may feel homesick, overwhelmed, stuck, confused, etc. Please know that this is totally normal, that feelings that the majority of students feel, especially first generation college students face. If they come calling you, please encourage them to seek help and that they should trust in the process. You can start with their EOP counselor, but anyone they know and trust is a good start. A student needs to work through these things, and it is a process. And I don't know how many students we meet with who want to leave college one day and then the next they love it here. And it really can just be a simple connection or one or two relationships with somebody that makes that change. Please remember, life in college is busy. Students are busy with classes, homework, extracurriculars, and just having fun. They may call you every day, or they may forget to call or text you for a week. That was definitely me when I was in college. Sorry, Mom. They may be very busy at odd times. And so connecting with them is important to you. Have a conversation with them and try to schedule something, but also just be ready to be flexible. Hopefully you've seen a couple of these webinars and explored the website. It should be clear there are many resources here on campus. If a student is feeling lonely, there's hundreds of clubs and student organizations to get involved with. If a student is having a roommate issue, there's paraprofessional and professional staff that live and work in the residence halls. There's free counseling, medical care, on-campus jobs, and so many offices that are here to help students. So encourage your students to look at the website and ask for help. And then finally, keep in touch with your student and with us. Many students struggle with their connections with their home, and it's important for you to check in. If you can, have them come back home, or you can visit them if you can. I know that can be a struggle sometimes. If you can't do that, make sure to text, call, or FaceTime. If you're worried about your student and they don't want to talk to you, feel free to reach out to us. We won't be able to share information back due to privacy laws, but we can take in information and check in with the students ourselves. And oftentimes when we know a parent is worried or a supporter is worried, we just tell them, hey, you should probably check in with home. Maybe you should call somebody. And that's all the advice I have today is for your family members and supporters. I'll just quickly introduce the staff that puts their hearts and soul into their work and your students. And so we have our wonderful EOP counseling team who advise students based on their colleges. We have Cynthia Diaz, who does engineering. Drexler Alcantara, who does business, architecture, environmental design, and I'm forgetting one other one. One other college, I'm just blanking out. We have 6. Rob is CLA, so liberal arts, and man, I was just blanking out. I'm gonna have to pull up the website after this. But they all went to college with similar backgrounds as our EOP students and know that they're going through and have to connect with them as well. But they're amazing counselors. On the back end, we have our administrative tasks team. That's Danny Justison, our EOP admissions coordinator, and myself as the director. And if you want to keep in touch, feel free to email us, call us, follow us on Instagram. We post a lot of our events and pictures of your students on our Instagram, so you can join us there. But you can email us at eop@calpoly.edu or call us at 805-756-2301. And then if you are on Instagram, we're at EOP Cal Poly, or you can scan this QR code. And I'm going to stop sharing and pass it back to Kanani.
All right, Roger, such great information. We had some questions coming in during your presentation. So I'm going to try and synthesize those. Folks, I know that you have a lot of questions coming in here and some of them are duplicates. So just let me see here. Okay, so Roger, This parent says, my student isn't very good at getting out of their comfort zone. What are some of the ways that EOP keeps students involved with the program?
Yeah, so I would say that starts with just the initial connection that we have with our students, right? We are with them through the admissions process. We keep in contact. If they are some are freshmen, they go through Summer Institute, and so they have a pretty good connection with our program and with our counselors, and they keep that going, right? We're checking in with them quarterly. If they haven't checked in by middle of the quarter, we're reaching out to them to say, hey, how are things going? And so we have a very proactive approach when it comes to advising. Um, and and so that's the start of it. It's just that connection, and that's different. It can be different from other advising models or other advising areas where we have caseloads of 1 to maybe 200, 250 students versus 1 to 500, 600. So we know your student much better, and we're reaching out to them and know what their struggles are. We do have newsletters. We do have Instagram. We do, we are in the halls. We're inviting them to events. And so when we see them, we're checking in with them as well. And so we have a pretty active connection with the students. And so we're checking in with them if they're feeling lonely, feeling disconnected. That's part of what our team does, is to make sure that they're connected, whether it's our program or some other program on our campus. Maybe it's just that connection to a certain org. We partner up with so many different departments and student organization and clubs that, whatever is a good fit for the student, we try to find that for them.
Yeah, it sounds like there's so many different ways that your department communicates with students, that even if a student, might be difficult for them to get out of their comfort zone, there are definitely different opportunities and different ways you communicate, so that maybe a student could just get in there for one of those times or one of those email communications and really be responsive and involved. That sounds great. Okay. You mentioned living learning communities, and this parent is asking how, oh, okay, if my student didn't select to live in the living learning community this year accidentally, can they join during the winter or spring?
Likely. So with EOP, because you're an EOP, we kind of on the back end will automatically place you into our residential learning community. If there's not space, for some reason in fall, which it does happen, but it's pretty rare, then we would look to see if we can add you in winter and in spring. Typically, there might be some other vacancy that pops up, and so we'll try to fit you in. We work very closely with housing. Like right now, we're working with one student to try to get in. They got added to the program late, and so we're just trying to get them into our building. So yes, we'll try to do that.
Yeah, it looks like this student that they're talking about is an engineering student and chose to live with their major, and after maybe meeting some folks from EOP are now interested in doing that. So thanks for that information. I remember that you had a slide on this too. Maybe you can expand a little bit. This parent is saying, I know that my student needs to do things for themselves, but I want to make sure that my student is getting the most out of being an EOP student. Can I look online? Are there deadlines that my student needs to meet that I can suggest that they pay attention to?
Yes, there's some of that. A lot of the information is publicly accessible on our website. So like academic deadlines, events that we have on our camp or in our program, or just events on campus. It is tough. If you call our office, we have the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. And so we can't share specific information about your student. We can't always just give general information about, hey, yeah, if a student needs to register for classes, this is about what time they would need to register for it. Or hey, finals are, if you ask about when are finals, we can give that general information. We can give information about when your student specific finals are, and, you can't be their wake up call for that. And so we do try to also encourage students and parents to really open up those lines of communication because it's going to be easier that way if you have questions about a student's specific account or something like that, is to work with the student as opposed to us being the mediator. But like I said, you can't find a lot of these deadlines on the website. Just click around, or really a lot of times what I do is just Google Cal Poly and then whatever I'm looking for, and then that will probably pop up.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think something that here at Parent and Family Programs, when we're talking to parents and supporters during slow days, is we talk about really making a plan, right? We have a lot of transitions that are coming up for both the parent supporter and the student. And it's a great idea to sit down and if as a parent, you know that like you want to talk to your student about EOP dates and such, take a look at the website and get to talking with your student, you know, before moving. I think that's a really good idea. Yeah. Okay, looks like we have time for one more question here. Let's see. Oh, the living learning. Ah, this parent is asking, is there a physical space where EOP students hang out in? Is there a lounge? Is that available for EOP students, or is it designated in a different building?
Yeah, so our main office is in building 52E07. And so that's kind of our main administrative office. You can come in, lots of students come in and say hi. We have a whole bookshelf with swag, and they can come pick some of that stuff up. They can schedule appointments. There's a couple of seats, and people do just hang out and chat with our student assistants or with our staff there. There's a microwave, a little fridge, so if somebody wanted to heat up lunch, they could do that. Down the hall in building 52E4 is our Cal Poly Scholars and EOP shared space. And so right now there's a couch, a couple computers that students can use. We have free printing for EOP students that they can utilize there. And so we do have students hang out there. Around that area too is our La Casa. We have BASE, which is Black Academic Excellence Center, and then the Dream Center. And so our students hang out in those spaces as well. And then for first year students, they hang out in the residential learning community. There's a kitchen and, you know, living room and such there. So I would say that's kind of the main areas. It's just kind of in this hallway. There's just so many different student organizations there that everybody kind of mingles and hang out. It's a very lively place. There's almost always free food there. And so, yeah, I would say that's a good place to hang out and find the space. We had our summer institute just a couple of weeks ago, and our students were in La Casa and E4 the whole time, just kind of in base, just kind of hanging out and, you know, going back and forth and just making themselves comfortable.
Yeah, that's a great row right there in building 52. Also, I was thinking like as a student myself, I was actually a trio student, but there was always a place for me to be, even when, you know, I might have felt a little uncomfortable in my classes or such. I knew that I had a place to go. Roger, the last question I have is from me, actually, as your presentation was going. I'm wondering, at Cal Poly, EOP is, I would say, a really treasured and storied program, and EOP students are really proud to be EOP students. And so maybe they're with EOP their entire 4 years. Is there any alumni component to the educational opportunity program here at Cal Poly? Are alumni involved at all?
Yeah, so we do some outreach to our alumni. We do have some LinkedIn kind of connections with our alumni, EOP alumni page, or say one of our signature events happen in Summer Institute. I'm actually looking at seeing if we can do this during the academic year, is we invite alumni to speak to our students. And so we had some alumni come from Arizona, all over California, working in, you know, aerospace engineering and then business and HR and all these different cool companies, and come talk to students to network and make those connections, as well as just talking about, you know, when it was like, you know, to be a student in EOP and have that connection, and give advice about, you know, what helped them earn their degree and be successful. And, you know, there's almost this mystery after, like, I would say your senior year, you get ready to graduate and you're like, oh, what am I supposed to be doing next? And so they kind of help answer, like, this is what I did. And it kind of helps you figure out, you know, what you're doing. So yes, we have a very close alumni network. It is very much, you know, once you're an EOP, you're always an EOP. You wear that proudly. There are EOPs at every CSU too. And so if you just run into another person who may not even come at from Cal Poly, and there's actually EOPs at UCs, just say, I'm an EOP student. There's a connection there. They know what that means. And there's kind of this camaraderie shared. And, you know, that's what happens when you have a 55-year-old program is there's lots of history there and lots of connections. And that's one of the wonderful things about EOP.
Yeah, I totally agree. As someone who doesn't work in that department, those are my observations. And so it's really translating, Roger, all of the work that you and your team are doing over there for our students. So thank you so much, Roger, for sharing your insights and the incredible work you do at EOP. It's really clear that the program plays a vital role in supporting our students' success here as Cal Poly. As we wrap up, I want to remind everyone that the resources and guidance offered by EOP are designed to help students thrive both academically and personally. So if you have any further questions or need more information, please contact the EOP team. And thank you all for joining us today. And a special thanks again to Roger for your time and expertise. Bye, y'all.